It seems that nowadays, wherever you walk the old Croton Aqueduct Trail, you run into bikers, hikers, and dog walkers. But that wasn't the case a little over a century ago. America had just entered World War I, and suddenly, the nation felt very vulnerable to attack from without and from within. And New York City's water supply seemed particularly exposed to German sabotage. Just imagine a well-placed bomb cutting the flow of fresh water to the country's busiest port city. With no water, arsonists begin to set fires. Soon, New York is brought to its knees. It was in this climate that the state created the 1st Provisional Regiment of the New York Guard. The 1st Provisional Regiment was tasked with protecting 100 miles of water system from the Catskills to Yonkers. With all the able-bodied men, ages 18 to 45, eligible for service overseas, the 1st Provisional was filled with older men and boys, only 17 years of age. One of its members was Merville Harrington, from rural Smithville, New York. He was just 17 years old. We know Merville's story from the many letters he sent home to his family and loved ones.
Dear mother and kids, fine scenery up here, mountains all around, some good high ones too. Saw a big snake about 3 inches through coming up on the train. Now please don't worry. It's awful cold here now, and we have some thunder showers and windstorms, believe me. I had one of those slip-on sweaters and a regular sweater, 2 uniform coats, and a heavy overcoat last night, and at that, I was cold. Don't know what I'll do when winter comes. This is a lonely place up here in the mountains, but I like the life and am as well and happy as can be expected, so far from home.
Private Harrington wrote home often. He wrote about the monotony of guard duty. He wrote about his pride in serving his country. He asked his mother for permission to adopt a puppy, born of the many guard dogs the troop used while on watch. And like many young men far from home, Merville would sometimes sound homesick.
Why don't you write, Mother? I haven't heard from you in almost a week.
The 1st Provisional Division never fought the enemy that our regular troops faced overseas, but they did pay a high price for their service. Spanish influenza hit them, and it hit them hard.
Say, Grandma, sometime when you are baking, I wonder if you'd just soon make me a small sponge cake and send it to me. It seems just as though if I had a piece of Grandma's cake, I'd be all right. Well, hope this finds you all well and happy. With oceans of love and kisses, your soldier boy, Merville. Write soon.
This section of the old Aqueduct Trail passes behind the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. If you're ever here, take a minute and step off the trail and walk up to the front. Here stands a memorial to the men of the 1st Provisional Regiment of the New York Guard. Most of the names here are the men who died from the Spanish influenza while they were still in service. This boulder originally came from the Catskills. The men of the 1st Provisional Regiment transported it here themselves. Private Harrington was assigned to the crew that brought it to this spot. It was one of his last assignments. Shortly after, Merville also fell victim to the flu that had taken the lives of so many of his comrades. His name is now etched here beside theirs.